I want to welcome you this evening. This is kind of a test drive, if you would. For those that don't know me, my name is Dave Lewis. I'm president of the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association, who is also the host to the Emergency Responder Safety Institute and the Responder Safety Learning Network. The purpose that we have here tonight is kind of twofold. This really is kind of a test drive, if you would. The route that you're going through here tonight, the live streaming that we're going through is actually a test drive for the Responder Safety Learning Network. We're trying to expand some of our course offerings to be live training events. So this is kind of a test drive for it, but we're gonna take a second purpose for it and use it not tonight as a learning platform, but as a feature to demonstrate its use while we talk about some of the things that we want to accomplish with our upcoming spring event, which I'll kind of go into some details. For those that may not be familiar with the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association, we were formed in 1901 at the urging of General Joseph Boyd, who was the superintendent of the Cumberland Valley Railroad. And if you kind of notice the map there to the right, Cumberland Valley Railroad ran from Winchester, Virginia to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, running through portions of West Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. And the fire companies that were along that railroad, among those four states, merged together to form the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association over concern for the fires that occurred along the railroad between those major routes. And that principle, that coordination that helped the association be formed in 1901 still exists today. That we look at common concern issues amongst not just now the four states, but we really do look at national issues and try to address those to the concern of everybody. So where are we at today? And again, as I said, we used to be kind of known as a four-state organization. That was originally noted, if you look at the Maltese cross, it's part of the Cumberland Valley logo. The four states were kind of centered around that. But we, in 1989, we added Delaware, and since then we have participation from New Jersey, New York, Ohio, and actually nationally and in some cases internationally in order to do that. We thrive basically on what I attuned to be four major business areas. Primarily, the first one is the one that most of you are familiar with, the Emergency Responder Safety Institute and our ResponderSafety.com website and our Responder Safety Learning Network. That's an effort that was started a little bit over 25 years after two fatalities of first responders occurred, one in Maryland and one in Pennsylvania. And we said, why aren't we doing something about this? And we started to the point that now we are nationally recognized experts in the field of responder safety among the nation's roadways. And you'll find our people basically go from coast to coast delivering training programs and doing presentations and writing magazine articles and things like that because we think it's that important. Three other efforts that we kind of extended into. Reputation management. Again, we looked at an issue a little bit over probably about 15 years ago now, and that with a lot of problems with firefighters that really gave a bad name to the service because of cheating, stealing, criminal activity, stealing from their own fire company, setting fires and whatnot. So we launched an initiative that we call Reputation Management, and that's hosted through our firefighterbehavior.com website. We also are very active in community risk reduction that folds quite tightly with the stuff that we do in roadway safety, because again, that's a risk to community too, when accidents and crashes happen out on the roadways. And so through our Eye for Fire Prevention website, we do that. And then again, because as I indicated to you, the reason that we were formed was to bring those four states together, which is now more than four states. We do have an annual meeting of what we call the President's Council, where those state leaders come together and talk about issues, challenges, and successes, and share that information among the state leaders as well as our federal partners. So that's kind of our business areas, and I would encourage you to kind of be part of it. The Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association is always looking for new members. The real work is really done through our committees, because as an association, we only meet 3 times a year. So our work is really done through the committees. And if you have an interest, come join us. Be part of the nationally recognized organization that advocates responder safety and public safety. And I set up this email address, ask.cvvfa@gmail.com. Drop me a note if you want more information, and we'd be glad to send that to you. So, as I noted, we really kind of have 2 things that we want to kind of get accomplished here tonight. I want to kind of first, I'm going to turn it over to Rod Admin from Stonehouse Media here for a few minutes, just to kind of give you an update on some of the things that's going on with the Responder Safety Learning Network and ResponderSafety.com. And then we're going to come back to me and going to talk about our upcoming meeting scheduled for March 16th and 17th, hosted by Citizen Fire Company in Newport, Pennsylvania. So with Rod, I'm gonna knock off my. Oh, I did want to mention too. If you have any questions or comments as you go along, use the Q&A button that's on your Zoom function there. Type it in, and when we get to the end or convenient point, I'll try to answer your questions or address anything that you might have. So let me stop sharing my screen so that Rod can put his up. Rod?
Thanks, dude. So I appreciate the opportunity to update all of you on the great things that the CVVFA is driving forward through the responder safeties. Let me get my slides here caught up. Through the Responder Safety Learning Network and ResponderSafety.com under Emergency Responder Safety Institute, we've got thousands of people coming every month to gather resources related to keeping responders safe through public education, training, and online learning targeted at our nation's responders. While this online work is all going on, I'd like to just give a shout out to the SWAT team of people. David already mentioned some of their work, who focus on educating the public by sharing resources and messages live and online to help keep responders safe. And that's led by Doug DeHaven. My comments tonight are only related to the work done online. So I'd like to thank Joe Crowbeth, Jack Sullivan, Todd Lees, and Steve Austin for their daily guidance. To give you an idea what's going on at ResponderSafety.com, in the last 90 days, 42,000 users came into ResponderSafety.com 51,000 times. So I guess a few folks came in a couple times. They came in to learn from recent news or learn about recent news related to struck bys. They came to gather resources for education and training. They came to download PSAs that they could share in their communities and many other resources within thousands of pages that are available at ResponderSafety.com. Most recently, responders came in to report struck bys at a microsite that's under the Responder Safety umbrella. It could be accessed by going to reportstruckby.com. The site is supported nationally by the Federal Highway Administration, now takes reports from all disciplines related to all struck bys, whether apparatus or responders. Unfortunately, I believe we've had 10 struck by fatalities already this year, so our work continues. At the Responder Safety Learning Network, the importance of roadway safety is seen by the continuous momentum, and we're seeing some really good things in the reporting. The commitment on a national level that people are putting in. We now have 145,000 registered users in over 100 countries. While more than 95% of those users come from the US, you can see that the leadership in our international community as the leaders in other countries register and learn. Just a quick sample, there's over 3,000 users in Canada, 46 in New Zealand, and I liked 4 in Zimbabwe because it begins with Z, and I don't think of traffic when I think of Zimbabwe, but that's probably my lack of knowledge. The Learning Network is now averaging around 1,700 new users every month. The base of leaders registering continues to grow. The leadership numbers you can see are the red lines. Those are people self-identifying as the folks that have a leadership position within the fire service. More than 51,000 responders have received their National TIM certificate through rsln.org. And again, that is supported by the United States Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration. Your online learning network has now delivered 750,000 certificates from more than 49 modules. I hope you're all proud of what you've done and will continue to spread the word about responder safety and the Responder Safety Learning Network. I'll hand it back now to Dave Lewis. And if any of you have any questions, President Dave Lewis, I should say, and if any of you have any questions, please use the Q&A form. Thanks again for your time. It's all yours, Dave.
Thank you, Rob. Okay. As I said, one of the things that we wanted to do this evening is just kind of briefly go over what some of our goals are for the upcoming spring meeting. Our spring meeting, as I said, will be hosted by the Citizens Fire Company in Newport, Pennsylvania. Our good friend here, Steve Flickinger, is going to be our host. So again, we welcome you to come visit us up in Newport, Pennsylvania. Plans are already underway. We've got a block rate for a hotel. Unfortunately, there are no hotels in Newport, so we're going to be staying down in the Harrisburg area, and so we've got a block of rooms reserved at the Fairfield Inn in just west of Harrisburg in the Mechanicsburg area for $99 a night. So this information has all been sent out via our constant contact list as well as posted on our website. So please kind of make your plans. So here's kind of our agenda. And yes, it is St. Patty's Day weekend, and I've invited people to wear your best green. We're going to kick off with Saturday. Our friends from Citizens Fire Company are going to provide us a nice welcome lunch on Saturday. And then one of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't all work and no learning. So I wanted to make sure that we provided an opportunity for some learning and some training there. So I've asked Joe Crowbeth, our director for the Emergency Responder Safety Institute, to provide us with an update similar to the one Rod just gave, but probably a little bit more depth on where we've been and where we're going with the Responder Safety Learning Network. And then I'm excited that I'm going to be bringing in a program that we actually did under contract to the Governor's Highway Safety Administration. We've actually got approval since they actually own the program. They paid for it, but we developed it on autonomous vehicles. Like it or not, autonomous vehicles are the wave of the future, and they're coming at us. I recently had the opportunity to be in Phoenix for the Fire Department Safety Officer Conference. Had an opportunity to ride in a Waymo vehicle, no driver. The vehicle just kind of, you plugged it in, you did the app on the phone, you ordered it like you would an Uber. It showed up at your hotel door, picked you up, and took you where you wanted it and dropped you off. It was really, really, really nice it was really encouraging where that technology is going. So we've actually put a training there. What do first responders need to know about these things? What happens if one of these things is done in a crash? Is it going to pull away from you just about the time you're trying to do something with it? So again, is there a way? How do we disable it? Is it going to run us over? So we've actually done a training program, and Jack Sullivan and Richard Brooks were instrumental with that, and Richard will be with us in Pennsylvania to deliver that program. And then, yes, we got some work to do. You're going to see that we at our October fall meeting, we made some major revisions to the way we operate as the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association. So they need to be incorporated into some changes to our bylaws and the way our bylaws are written. At our spring meeting, which is this meeting here, the bylaws are put on the table for consideration and discussion, and then they're voted on at our convention, which will be the first weekend in August. So I'm going to take some time to go over those changes so that everyone understands it. So therefore, when we have our business meeting on Sunday, the work part has kind of been gotten out of the way. And then I really want to take some time to talk about some strategic planning. And we've had a lot of discussions over the last number of years about our association, where it's going, where's our funding stability, where's our membership going, what's our succession plan. And so I want to take some time in an open discussion to talk about, how do you feel? You're the membership. And so we're certainly going to work on that, a little bit of strategic planning. And then we're going to let our hair down a little bit, go back to the hotel. And again, our good friends from Citizens Fire Company have offered to host a social at the hotel with a little bit of libation, a little bit of talk, a little bit of discussion. So that's kind of our Saturday plan. Notice that we start about noon because some people may travel on Saturday morning. Some of us will be going up on Friday. But again, those that want to wait until Saturday morning can do so. Sunday morning, we're going to kick off first. Citizens Fire Company is going to provide us with a full breakfast. So again, we'll have a nice warm breakfast to start the day off. And then at 9 o'clock, we'll start our business meeting. And I anticipate that we should be able to have that finished out by noon and give everybody the Sunday afternoon to travel back home. So here's kind of our goals for the meeting. I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to introduce new members to the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association and the Emergency Responder Safety Institute. Hopefully we'll have some new members possibly come along from the Newport area or beyond. And there, I want to make sure that we have a training opportunity. As I said, when we talk about the responder safety program, the autonomous vehicles, not everybody in Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association is closely connected to what's going on in the responder safety program. So I wanted to make sure that we provide that information to our membership at large, as well as a training opportunity to understand these autonomous vehicles. And then again, as I mentioned, part of our work session on the Saturday is an open discussion, an open work session on the future of the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association and the Emergency Responder Safety Institute. To conclude those proposed bylaws changes, an update to our logo, and then again, some strategic planning. Relative to the bylaws, we're really looking at, they really are two major revisions, but they kind of touch every section of our bylaws. The first one was changing our name from Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firemen's Association to the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association. Getting with the times, being that. Again, that was approved by the membership wholeheartedly, unanimously at our October fall meeting. We just need to incorporate it and into our bylaws, and that's what this action will do. The other one was an organizational changes. We gave a lot more responsibility and duties to our directors, the directors of the Cumberland Valley Volunteer Firefighters Association, and those changes now will be incorporated as part of our bylaws. Both of those changes really have been approved. They were approved at our October fall meeting, but we did have to incorporate those into the bylaws, which again, according to our bylaws, have to be placed on the floor for first reading at the spring meeting and then voted on at convention. So where are we at with the logo change? It could have been as simple as change Firemen's to Firefighters Association. If you looked at the older logo, but we really did kind of look at trying to rebrand in some sense. And so we really came down to two options. We discussed this at our October fall meeting. Some people liked one, some people liked one. We really couldn't kind of come down to that. And so I really did ask Shelby DeHaven and Jason from Stonehouse to kind of go away and bring us up with some new designs. And so the two designs that you're looking at here now are what we're going to place on the floor for hopefully consideration and vote at this spring meeting and put this issue to bed. There are some minor changes. The colors in the Maltese cross are a little bit different. Steve Austin did some research for us, and we really kind of went back to the four colors that were actually part of the original logo. And somewhere along the line between when and way back when to down, the colors kind of changed and transitioned. And we really wanted to kind of preserve a little bit of history while modernizing the logo. And so somewhere in there, and we quite haven't found it in all of Steve's history yet, there's actually significance to those colors as they relate to the 4 states that were the founding states for the association. And so we wanted to kind of go back to that, and we kind of dropped the yellow used to be in the middle. We moved that up to the top. There used to be an orange at the top that now has kind of gone away. And so we want to offer that as option 1 and option 2, and ask for a vote of the membership at the spring meeting. I mentioned want to do some strategic planning, an open discussion of what's working, what's not working, what do we need to change. We had some discussions in October, the fact that we did not get continued grant funding through the Fire Prevention and Safety Grant Program, put us a year that we had to put a lot of things on hold for the past year, and that will continue at least for the next 6 months. And so we need to look at some things to stabilize ourselves financially, whether that's corporate sponsorship or whatever that might be in order to do that. Membership growth, we're at a membership of about 650 members. Not all of them participate. When you look at our committee structure, we probably have 30 to 40, maybe 50 people that are active within those committees. So how do we get other people involved? How do we get new blood in? Steve Austin, Jack Sullivan, some others, maybe even me, will tell you, we're not getting any younger, and we need to make sure that if we're going to continue what started in 1901 and continue that into the future, we need to bring in some younger members, and we need to think about succession plan. Who are our next set of leaders? Who might be the next people to run the responder safety program? Who might be the next people to run the Cumberland Valley Association? Who might be the next people to whatever it may be? And so we need to have some open and frank discussions about that, and that's what I hope to do in a little bit of time that we have on Saturday. We could spend a whole day just talking about these things, but we're going to at least try to hit the highlights. So that's kind of a snapshot, if you would, of our spring meeting. I just want to kind of offer you a little bit of a look ahead. We are, at the same time, we're making plans for our annual convention. That'll start on the evening of Wednesday, July 31st, and continue through Saturday, August the 3rd. Our host company for our 2024 convention is the Halfway Fire Department, just outside of Hagerstown, Maryland. We already have a hotel block reserved for that at the Country Inn and Suites, just round the corner from the fire station, actually, in Hagerstown, at $109 a night. So I'll kind of give you that look ahead, kind of mark your calendars, make your plans for that. And as we continue to make some plans for our fall convention, excuse me, we'll provide you more details. I didn't want to take up a whole lot of your time tonight. Our main thing was that we wanted to, take about 25, 30 minutes, and I'm right at about 28 minutes. So I'm doing good on time. Rod won't shoot me and knock me off the network here. But we wanted to give you the opportunity to, like I said, we wanted to test this platform out, but we also wanted to make sure that everyone's aware of where we're going as an association and where we're going with the responder safety program. And I hope that many of you will be able to join us in Newport, Pennsylvania. Learn more and be part of our organization.